All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. That is Harris Rubenstein. He's on Twitter at SportsDean. We'll talk a little bit now about the New York Knicks, mainly because they did make a move. They're going to be quiet this offseason, but they did sign somebody, namely Mario Hezonja, comes over from the Orlando Magic. Worth noting, the Knicks' current GM was the Magic's GM, or at least involved in the decision-making when they took Mario.
I love this
Super Mario.
Good upside. I mean, he averaged 15 points per game per 36 minutes last year, which is a very good number for a guy like him. But he has been a pretty big disappointment so far in the NBA. He never really got going with the Magic. And I was a huge fan of Mario Hezonja, mainly because did you ever hear about the famous quote he had involving Lionel Messi? So someone said that so apparently when Mario Hezonja was coming into the draft, someone came up to him and said, hey, Lionel Messi wants you to come see him play. And Mario Hezonja's response was, ha, he can come see me play. To Lionel Messi. Mario Hezonja, 18 years old. This dude still has all the confidence in the world, and I think he's going to the perfect spot with the Knicks. He'll get a real chance to become a legitimate two-guard for them. And again, him plus David Fizdale, perfect fit. I love this a lot for the Knicks. This is a great low-risk, high-reward signing for the New York Knicks. No long-term, risk on it. One-year deal, low salary. I like it a lot.
All right, some more Knicks talk here, namely Trevor Booker. Not just the Knicks interested there. The Timberwolves, the San Antonio Spurs, the Pelicans, the Jazz, the Houston Rockets have all shown interest in Booker. I don't think the Knicks make much sense now because they've signed Mario. Where do you think Booker could end up?
I disagree. I still think he does end up looking at the Knicks. Simply because, look, we've reported a couple of weeks ago.
One-year deal, I would assume.
For of course. We do shorts here for different teams with their rumors, Lakers, Knicks, Mavs, Celtics, depending on what the news revolves around. The last time we did a Knicks one, they're interested in a power forward. Trevor Booker would be a perfect selection for a cheap power forward to start for.
And I think Booker is a perfect third or fourth backup big man. And you're not going to pay him a premium. He's going to be a reliable effort, defense, rebounding guy. He's not going to be a 20-point guy, but that's not what you're paying him to be.
And remember, Kristaps Porzingis is not going to be back until December. So you need someone to play at the 4 until then. The plan right now, the hope, is that you get Trey Burke at the 1, Frankie Smokes at the 2, Tim Hardaway Jr. at the 3, along with Kevin Knox, and then you have Kristaps Porzingis and Enes Kanter manning the 4 and the 5, and you can kind of mix those around. But they want Kevin Knox to end up starting for this team, so I think their starting lineup is going to be in flux, but they need someone to put at that power forward spot while Kristaps comes back. And no, the answer is not Kevin Knox. I don't think he has the physicality on offense or defense to man the power forward spot. But the Knicks aren't going to make the playoffs next year anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
All right, speaking of big men here, Kyle O'Quinn sounds like he will not be back. There's been some heavy connection between the Sixers and O'Quinn. Well, I think he can get a little bit more money elsewhere and play for a better basketball team.
This would be
no offense, Knicks fans.
It'd be perfect. You said the 76ers. What about the Warriors? Wouldn't the Warriors be the perfect fit for Kyle O'Quinn? Defense, rebounding, a little bit of scoring off the bench. That's exactly what they need. I think Kyle O'Quinn would be a great option for any team out there looking for a veteran center, and there are a lot of them. Teams are always looking for big men.
All right, so O'Quinn doesn't sound like he'll be back with the New York Knicks. One more note here on the Knicks. Seems like Michael Beasley also gone. At least that's the report from the New York Post. Where do you think he ends up, Harris?
Atlanta. Because I think he wants to go home. I think Atlanta has some mutual interest in him as well. A team just needs scoring. I think he's going to be on one-year deals for the rest of his career. It was good to see this year that when put in a primetime scoring spot, he was able to get something done. 13 points per game for Michael Beasley is probably as good as you're going to get. And if you're the Hawks, sign the guy to a one-year deal, maybe mentors John Collins and help him create an actual jump shot. I think it'd be a good call.
All right, that's the update on Michael Beasley. Sounds like he will not be back with the New York Knicks this season. All right, folks, again, I am Tom Downey. Follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. That is Harris Rubenstein. He is on Twitter at SportsDean. We'll take it out to the top 15 NBA free agents still left unsigned, and we'll make our predictions. We want you guys making yours in the comments section as well. We'll start things off at number 15 here, as again, we start with some of the lesser names. A lot of names have signed already. How about Kyle Anderson of the San Antonio Spurs? Harris has shown some flashes in the past. Where could he end up? Do you think he's going to stay with the Spurs this year?
I think that Kyle I think that Kyle Anderson has been a relative – sorry, a little water stuck in my throat. People got to calm down. Look, Kyle Anderson has been a relative disappointment since he got drafted. I think when they picked him up, they really thought that he had a lot of potential in terms of a lengthy three. He could play a little defense at the 4 as well. I remember on
He's
draft night –
a versatile player.
Oh, absolutely. I remember on draft night when this guy got picked up, he was supposed to be – everyone freaked out. Oh, my God, the Spurs got Kyle Anderson. And he just really hasn't turned into anything exciting. He's a very boring player that doesn't really have one skill that he can rely on to do anything.
He's a utility tool which has a role, but I don't think he's a guy that you want paying big money to or starting. But I think he's a very good bench player.
He is a good bench player. Like, look, they took a chance on him because they thought that he has a lot of upside. And I think we just kind of saw that he hit a ceiling with his development and hasn't really been able to bust through it. I still think he goes back to the Spurs. I don't think he's going to get a lot of attention.
All right, so Anderson there checks in at number 15. We'll go to number 14 now. We'll stick with the guards. How about Rodney Hood of the Cavs? Are we getting playoffs Rodney Hood at the end or beginning playoffs Rodney Hood? Because those are two completely different players.
Or do we get Utah Jazz Rodney Hood?
I like Utah Jazz Rodney Hood a lot.
I like Utah Jazz Rodney Hood a lot. But again, I think we're getting close to a point. I'm not putting this out there, but I will say this. We do have Boston Celtics disease when someone leads Brad Stevens. They aren't as good anymore. Maybe we're going to get Quinn Snyder disease where people leave the Utah Jazz and they aren't as good because his system and coaching style is so good and gets the best out of people. I'm a decent Rodney Hood fan. I like his length. I like his ability to shoot. I think when they finally played him in the finals, he looked really good. But I don't think anyone's going to be able to steal him from the Cavs. They need a guy like him at the 2 and the 3 to actually get them some buckets if they want a legitimate shot at the playoffs next year. And also, if you're a team, how much money do you really want to throw at Rodney Hood?
It's a fair question. You're not going to throw a lot of money because you don't know what you're going to end up getting in Hood. So Hood checks in there at number 14. Let's go to number 13 then. And at number 13, a player that I think has really saved his career, quite frankly here, Wayne Ellington of the Miami Heat.
Well, Wayne Ellington last year, over the past couple of years, I should say, has really turned himself into just a new player. I mean, he turned himself into a good three-point shooter. He was on the Grizzlies for a little bit. Now he was on the Heat last year. I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten more buzz as a reliable three-point shooter. You would think that a guy like him in the modern-day NBA would be getting deals all over the place, like what Joe Harris got from the Nets. I mean, he got, 2 years, 12 from the Nets. How has Wayne Ellington not gotten that on the open market yet? It's kind of surprising.
Aging and maybe just taking his time. I don't think Joe Harris wanted to leave the Brooklyn Nets. I think Wayne Ellington would consider leaving the Miami Heat, and that's the difference there as to why he hasn't signed yet.
Yeah, and I think with Wayne Ellington, it really depends on how much money he would get on the open market. But look, the Heat are in a ridiculously bad cap situation anyway.
It's rough for them. It absolutely is.
Rough is an understatement, my friend. It's not like Thunder or Nuggets bad, but it's right there, man. It is right there. They're paying Kelly Olynyk something like $14 million a year. James Johnson's getting paid too much money. Dwayne Wade, like all these guys, they're giving out so much money. They just have no cap space left. And D. Wade still thinks that there's money out there that they haven't paid him because he took a lot of pay cuts during his time with the Heat. Let me tell you.
He did. All right, so Wayne Ellington there is at number 13. We'll go to a big man here. How about Brook Lopez at number 12 here, who remains unsigned. We saw some comments last time, a different type of big man because what kind of center averages 4 rebounds a game? The Brook Lopez type.
One quick thing, guys. If you are trying to ask us questions in the comment section of YouTube, we will answer them as fast as we can. However, if you want to have your question brought up live on air, use the YouTube Super Chat option, and we will answer your question live. We'll pull it up. We'll name drop you. We'll say hello. Use that Super Chat if you want a question answered here live on air. But for Brook Lopez, I mean, look, he's on the latter half of his career. He's not going to get anything close to, probably maybe $5, $6, $7 million a year. He's a good offensive center, but the dude can't really rebound. He's never been able to play defense either. So with him, I still think he ends up back in the Lakers as a good backup big.
I don't think they're going to make any more major moves. I refer to LA. I think they'll bring back Lopez on a 1-year deal with whatever money they have left, and then they'll keep that cap flexibility available for another season.
Yeah, I think he's a good counter towards JaVale McGee. Whatever JaVale McGee can't do, Brook Lopez can do, and whatever Brook Lopez can't do.
A nice pairing, so
exactly.
To speak. Whatever they won't pay on the court that much.
Whatever you need, they could probably get it done split between the two of them.
Exactly. All right, so Brook Lopez there checks in at number 12. Here's the name I know everyone watching knows. One, Dwayne Wade. Harris, I think you and I are in agreement here. He's not going to leave the Miami Heat.
He's not going to leave the Miami Heat, but look how dramatic his photo is.
Unless he wants to go to L.A.
So dramatic.
He's got that creepy Mr. Studio Girl face on.
He's taking some acting classes from his wife now, Gabrielle Union. Are they married? Yeah, married, Gabrielle Union. All right, Gabrielle Union Wade.
Thank you, producer Elena, for nodding your head because you're the one who knows that.
But Dwayne Wade is going to end up back on the Heat. I just don't think that anyone is legitimately going to give him any money. Where else is Dwayne Wade going to play basketball next year? Except for he's not.
Dark Horse Lakers.
No way. There is a 0% chance.
Try that again.
The only connection that Dwayne Wade is having with the Los Angeles Lakers is texting LeBron James multiple ha-ha-ha-ha-has because they've gotten Rajon Rondo and Lance Stevenson, and that might just be pissing off LeBron. Who knows? I'm sure it's all a lot of fun.
Lit. How dare you? The mean team is
so much fun. I love it. It's great.
All right, so D Wade there checks in at number 11 overall. We'll take it now into the top 10. Some players maybe could actually see some movement. At number 10, it is Avery Bradley and Harris. Of all the players that we went through, this is the one I thought longest about as to, oh man, where is he going to end up?
I think that Avery Bradley needs to go on the Warriors.
But that's not fair.
It's not fair, but it's a perfect fit. It's exactly what the Warriors were missing out on last year. Look, Klay Thompson is a great perimeter defender. He is. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. But Avery Bradley is better. I'm sorry. I don't care what the defensive teams say. Ask Damian Lillard, ask Kyrie Irving, ask John Wall. They have all said multiple times in the past couple of years, who is the best perimeter defender in basketball? Avery Bradley. Like, multiple players have said this multiple times. So you put Avery Bradley and his defensive three-point shooting ability on the Warriors, they might literally be unstoppable. It's a perfect fit.
I just want to make note, in the comments section, we've got some great comments saying, Jello, the Jello fans are back, and I love you guys.
Oh, not the
Never
Jello.
change. I love you. I stuck with the Clippers on my prediction because, I don't have a great feel for what Bradley's going to do. I think the Clippers would like to bring him back as well.
I still think I'm holding on the Warriors. They've had a lot of interest in him since the start of the free agency. Usually when you hear a team connected with a player, if it's the first player that team is interested in, that is usually who that team is going to go after. And for the Warriors, the first rumor that we heard about a free agent was Avery Bradley.
That makes sense. All right, so Bradley there checks in at number 10 overall. We do have a super chat coming in, so thank you, Jake Brown, for the first one of the evening here. Asks, what is the Suns' best free agent option at point guard? Harris, I'll let you answer that one first.
Suns' best free agent
because they don't have a lot of money right now.
Point guard.
They're tight on the funds.
You reminded me today that the corpse of Brandon Knight is currently the only active point guard besides Elliot Kobo.
I think that's who's going to start a point guard for the Suns.
Which is just a terrible option. I can't believe that Brandon Knight is going to be starting in the year of our Lord 2018. But other point guard that's an option, I mean, I don't think Isaiah Thomas is going to be brought back into the fold. I think that relationship and that marriage is completely out of there. I think Dante Exum is going to end up going back. Collison is off the board, as is Lance Stevenson. There are not a lot of point guards left out there, especially since every team has a point guard.
And the Suns have very limited funds, so
Peyton's
I think
gone.
It's going to be Brandon Knight.
Peyton's gone. I mean, Rondo just got picked up by the Lakers. I mean, at this point, I think a Kobo. It's either a Kobo or Brandon Knight.
Knight.
But at the end of the day, I think
bring back Tyler Ulis.
The Suns' long-term plan is for Booker to man the point guard spot and kind of turn him into a James Harden kind of player.
All right, I suppose that's fair. So, again, Bradley there was at number 10. We'll take it out to number 9. Again, thank you, Jake Brown, for that super chat there.
Jake Brown from State Farm.
Okay. Yusuf Nurkic checks in at number 9, the Trailblazers center. He is an RFA. You and I are in agreement here. The Blazers will not let him go. He's actually been a pretty reliable player for them.
He has, and he ended up being the answer for what they always needed down low. They just needed someone overly capable, not just someone who you stick down there and it works for a little bit. No, someone that is legitimately capable of getting buckets, getting rebounds, and working inside of a legitimate NBA system. They have not had a big man who could do anything since they've had Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Nurkic was the great trade for them. They got him from the Nuggets, and he wasn't going to play there. Comes over, good impact, 14 points per game, 9 rebounds. I think he should end up with a cheaper deal, maybe somewhere around $9 to $10 million. I think he'll get something a little bit higher than his qualifying offer. Don't be surprised they give him a multi-year deal, but we're talking about teams in cap hell. The Blazers are in
every contract matters.
They are in the 7th layer of salary cap hell. Evan Turner, Myers Leonard, all these terrible deals that they've been giving out of the past couple of years. It's terrible.
Yeah, we'll take it now to number 8 here on our list of the top 15 NBA free agents left unsigned. At number 8 overall guy we discussed earlier in the program, Zach LaVine. Harris. If I'm the Bulls, I am making sure I keep him. I think he's got the ability to be a really, really good player for you. Maybe not a max contract guy, but a damn good basketball player. And the Bulls are not in a position to say goodbye to young talent.
I'm going to throw something out there.
Okay.
And I don't have a source behind this. This is more of a hunch, if anything. I think that the Bulls have already made an offer to Zach LaVine. And I think that Zach LaVine is holding out, waiting for someone to offer him the max. But I think he's slowly coming to the realization that there isn't a team out there that is going to actually give him a max contract. Look, he played in 24 games last season. He's coming off a torn ACL, or at least, from the past couple of seasons. He's a good scorer, but after that, he's not a great defender, and he doesn't really have a lot of great skills after that. He's explosive, he's athletic, and he can score, but it's tough to give a max contract to a guy like that, especially as a guard. I wasn't crazy about the Magic giving Aaron Gordon a max contract. I'm not crazy about the Bulls giving Zach LaVine a max contract. I don't think he's really worth it. Answer me this question.
Sup?
Who's a better player, Zach LaVine or Marcus Smart?
Oh, I like Zach LaVine. Scoring matters in the NBA.
Scoring, but who's a better all-around player?
I believe it is Zach LaVine.
Really?
Because if I need a player to be that fifth guy, I'm going to take Marcus Smart. If I need someone to be the third or the fourth guy, I'm going to take LaVine.
That's fair.
Smart is the single best role player in the NBA.
Okay.
Zach LaVine can be more than that.
That's fair. All right, that's fair. I'll give you that. But in terms of what you need Zach LaVine to be, you can't have him do that and also be a max player.
That's fair.
$24 to $25 million a year for Zach LaVine at this point is way too much.
But I would definitely make sure that I keep him. All right, some more super chats coming in. Keep them flowing, folks, on YouTube. Colin Arp says, what do you see San Antonio doing? Harris, I think at least for me, it all depends on, what do you do with Kawhi?
Patience.
If you don't trade Kawhi, you're not going to really make any more notable moves. Maybe a guy like a Trevor Booker, maybe some more bench depth. I think bringing in Marco Bellinelli was their main move.
Marco Bellinelli was the move.
Because they're out of cap space
Drafting
now.
Lonnie Walker was the move. Getting Rudy Gay to come back was the move. And now they figure out Kawhi Leonard. They are doing this safely, they're doing this quietly, and they are doing this correctly. If you are a Spurs fan, I know you're probably upset about everything going down with Kawhi Leonard. Just know that your organization is approaching everything else outside of Kawhi the correct way. Remember, this team almost won 50 games last year with Kawhi only playing in 9 of them. They're still a playoff team next year and are still a threat for the Western Conference Finals.
All right, 2004, Mr. Spitfire says, what should the Rockets do to replace TA, referring to Trevor Ariza? They're kind of hamstrung right now, Harris. They don't have the ability to sign anyone with their cap space. You're kind of, at that point, restricted to kind of the MLE.
That was why losing Trevor Ariza was such
a big blow.
Big blow for the Rockets. They just don't have a natural replacement for him on the roster. I mean, the next best thing that they have in terms of a 3-and-D guy is Gerald Green,
who's not that.
PJ Tucker. Houston. And also the bad thing about it is that not having Trevor Ariza, it means that next year you most likely are going to have to start Eric Gordon. You just will to actually get enough scoring on the starting lineup. We'll see. Don't be surprised. I think the Rockets could try to make a trade to get a wing guy here. Maybe over the next couple of weeks.
I could see that.
Maybe sometime in August.
Front office in a big way.
I trust Morey. Maybe sometime in August they try to make a move to get a guy on the wing.
All right, folks, keep those super chats coming. And, of course, we'll be doing our best to respond in those massive YouTube comments flow. All right, number 7 here of our top 15 NBA free agents still left unsigned. How about Tyreke Evans? Harris, you and I disagree on where we think he'll go. You picked the Lakers. I'll go with the Warriors. I think we both agree the Warriors will get a guard. You picked Bradley. I picked Evans.
Well, it's a little bit less likely now Tyreke Evans going to the Lakers. It sucks because he's a perfect fit for them if they actually chose to sign him over giving $9 million to Rajon Rondo, which is stupid and ridiculous.
It's glorious. How dare you?
I can't believe it.
I love it.
Now you have Tyreke Evans still on the board. I think the Warriors are still a likely option. I mean, as many wings as the Warriors can get, the better. I don't think Tyreke Evans is a great defender, but I think if you put him in a good defensive system, he's not going to kill you. I mean, maybe he takes away, in terms of kind of like using the Carmelo War.
He's a sixth-man bench scorer type.
It's like
that's a role for every player.
on defense or something. Like, he's not a terrible defender.
Put him on the Warriors. Who cares? You're fine.
Exactly. There you
they
go.
got by with Nick Young playing minutes, so they get by with Tyreke Evans playing some minutes there as well. All right, number 6 then. Some more bigger names, and this one could have been a max guy, but then this year did not go very well for him. Isaiah Thomas. I'll tell you what, Harris, he's not going to be back with the LA Lakers. That is not happening.
Nope, and unfortunately, no Brinks truck either for Isaiah Thomas. And it sucks. I was really rooting for him. I was hoping he was going to eventually get his money. I think he's the perfect fit for the Bulls, though. Look, he's a good fit on any team that has a pass-first starting point guard. Now they have Lonzo Ball, or the Lakers had Lonzo Ball, so it was a perfect fit between him and Isaiah Thomas. Through the rest of the team, or the rest of the teams in the NBA, the only real fits that there are in terms of having a pass-first starting point guard are the Bulls with Chris Dunn. I would love to see Isaiah Thomas on the Bulls. Would help him mentor some of the younger guys on the team. Would help take the Bulls, into legitimacy in the Eastern Conference. And also, it's a good way for him to kind of show off his skills if he wants a longer-term deal next summer.
Right.
But I think we're going to see a lot of one-year deals for Isaiah.
You went with the Bulls, so that would push Justin Holiday down to the bench. That would result in other players taking that role. I went with the Orlando Magic, and I got a Twitter question the other night from somebody, I forget who, about who the Magic could bring in as a point guard. And I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention Isaiah Thomas, which the Bulls have DJ Augustin.
Nice.
That's it. So if you're Isaiah Thomas, come to the Magic and be very, very involved in the offense. If you're the Magic, you need somebody. Now, the Magic don't have a lot of cap space. They could find a way to make it work.
I'm going to say this as calmly and as low-key as I can.
Plus Orlando.
This is why drafting Jonathan Isaac last year was really, really stupid and made no sense. That was a terrible draft pick. No one understood it. I still don't get it to this day.
Bismack Biyombo still playing that bench role.
So dumb.
Number 5, then a guy you mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, Harris. That is Marcus Smart. Can do a little bit of everything for you, a great defensive player. Because he's a restricted free agent, I think he'll be back with the Celtics. Who is going to go out and make a big money deal to sign Marcus Smart, Harris?
Celtics. The Celtics are going to. I think there was a little bit of a rumor that the Mavericks could make a run at him. I think that was all just fluff. I think Marcus Smart's number one option has always been to return to the Boston Celtics. That was always the idea. They've always wanted him back. They've told him that they're going to end up matching how much he wants. It's just more of a matter of when instead of if. I'm a big fan of what Marcus Smart brings to the table. He's a fantastic player, an amazing defender. He's improving his shooting every single year, at least the fundamentals of anything. So just beware of giving Marcus Smart too much money. I think between $14 to $15 million is a really good number for him, especially with his scrappiness and his defensive abilities, and his plus minus has always been through the roof for the Celtics. I just think he's very similar to Jay Crowder, where you take him off the Celtics, and I don't think he's as good as he would be if he stayed with Brad Stevens and what their system offers. So personally, I like him on the Celtics. I think that's where he'll end up staying. I believe we'll end up with a 3 to 4 year deal at about $15 million per for Marcus Smart. And that also allows for him to maybe be a trade option over the next couple of years now that he's on a legitimate long-term contract. It was always difficult to trade Marcus Smart, seeing as, he would have to sign an extension with whatever team he ended up going to.
All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. That is Harris Rubenstein. We were going to take you to number 4 on our list here of top available NBA free agents. That was going to be Julius Randle. You notice, of course, the past tense there. That is because Julius Randle has signed. He is going to the New Orleans Pelicans on a 2-year, $18 million deal. That's pretty cheap, Harris, for Randle. It's an interesting fit there. With Randle in tow, what does this mean for DeMarcus Cousins?
What it means for DeMarcus Cousins is that I think the Pelicans are planning on him to leave. Because, let me preface this. This is a fantastic deal for the Pelicans. They are getting a hell of a player at way below market value. I thought Julius Randle was going to get somewhere between $10 to $15 million a year, and the Pelicans got him on a multi-year contract at $9 million a year. Great deal, and also a outstanding fit next to Anthony Davis. Great fit for him at the 4 if they want to have Anthony Davis long-term at the 5. Maybe they try to make a sign and trade with Boogie to send him to the Wizards. Maybe he is going to the Lakers. But overall, I love this fit with the Pelicans. This is fantastic. Great move for them. I think he matches up perfectly with Anthony Davis down low.
All right, so we'll keep it rolling now. We'll go into our number 3 player here. We'll get back to the order. Jabari Parker checks in at number 3 with the Milwaukee Bucks. You think he's going to the Bulls? I think he's staying with Milwaukee. I don't think Chicago's going to make a big enough offer because it doesn't make sense from a scheme perspective.
But I don't think he can go back to the Bucks. They already gave his money to Ersan Ilyasova. Where's Jabari Parker going to play? They don't.
They're different players.
They're not different players. They play the same position.
They're different players. Ersan is a shooter. Jabari can do more than that.
They play the same position, and at this point, if you're Jabari Parker, why would you go back to the Bucks? What do they offer you? You don't like the coaching staff. You don't like the system that they have you in. You've stunted in terms of your development. It's time for him to go and seek greener pastures.
All right, number 2 then is DeMarcus Cousins. Of course, we'll put the asterisks here on our predictions because the Pelicans did just sign Julius Randle to a 2-year, $18 million deal with a player option in year 2. So some question marks around Boogie's future. We'll go more in depth with him tomorrow on our shows. Still think Pelicans? I still kind of think Pelicans are because they can still afford him, but it's now a little bit less clear.
I still think Pelicans, but if not Pelicans, I think a sign and trade to the Wizards is going to be a very interesting option.
Right, so Boogie there checks in at number 2. And then at number 1, it is one Clint Capela of the Houston Rockets, who you and I both agree, Harris, is going to stay in Houston.
There really isn't anywhere else that he's going to be able to go. He's going to stay with the Rockets. They've already said that they're going to match any player that ends up coming through the ranks. Clint Capela is going to stay with Houston.
All right, so we'll see what happens with Capela, but Houston, they will not let him leave. They're going to throw out that max offer. They will not let him leave Houston. They can't afford to after losing Trevor Ariza as well.
One more quick thing. I love the rotation of Julius Randle, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Mirotic. Absolutely love it. I think that's fantastic.
Agreed. All right, folks, I am Tom Downey. That is Harris Rubenstein. We're going to sign off here, take you through everything that happened earlier with a loop. But if you guys missed anything, it's going to come up. And keep those comments flowing. Harris and I will chime in and respond to you guys in the comments section. So until tomorrow when we're back with more NBA coverage in the morning, we'll see you then.